Most of the people that say, I want to buy a tiger, are what you could classify as impulse buyers. People who say, if I raise it from a cub, it won't bite me, will it? I can housebreak it if it grows up in my house. It will never eat my children.
If you're a bad guy and you want to make money and have a much lower chance of getting caught, the wildlife trade is perfect because, you know, what's the likelihood that some municipal police officer is going to know that the critter you have in your bag or that you have in your car is a legal lizard or the world's most endangered lizard. Even if they are apprehended, you don't see people going away for decades for selling endangered species. If you're selling drugs, you may go away for decades.
Wildlife trafficking worldwide is estimated to be a $19 billion a year business, which puts it only underneath drug trafficking, human trafficking, and arms smuggling. It's as lucrative to deal in wildlife as it is to deal in heroin, cocaine, or automatic weapons. The President of the United States has made it a priority in his administration to look at wildlife trafficking. One, we need to save these species, and two, it's become a national security issue, and it's a worldwide issue that needs to be solved by many countries throughout the world to disrupt these criminal networks that are profiting in pretty much the death of a lot of these iconic species. In the wildlife trade, the types of people you run into are people just doing it for profit. And if that means wiping out the species, they'll move on to something else. Then there's the people that do it because of ego.
It's almost like the macho factor. Can I get the most dangerous, the most venomous, the hottest snake that's out there? Sometimes they just want to be able to say, look, I have this extremely rare animal that there's only X number left in the world, and I have one sitting here in my living room.
There's a lot of exotic species that are held in the pet trade here in the United States. Some states make it illegal. Some states don't have regulations at all in regards to exotics or animals that aren't native to the state. It can be tigers, lions, cougars, leopards. Sometimes individuals will own chimpanzees. It's up to the states to regulate them within the states.
A lot of these animals are incredibly friendly, but that doesn't mean they're safe. These animals will kill you because they like you. Hi, let's play. Oh, you broke. If you go in the cage with one of these animals, you are at risk. If you stick your hands in the cages with these animals, you are at risk. If you're not in the cage and the cage is secure, you're safe. Hi, Parker. Hi. My name is Joe Taft, and I am the founder and director of the Exotic Feline Rescue Center. The Exotic Feline Rescue Center houses about 225 big cats, including 140 tigers. We take cats from around the United States. To the best of my knowledge, we are the second largest collection of big cats in the country. We don't buy them, sell them, or breed them. We're strictly a rescue operation. These animals are bred in this country in captivity, and they have been for many, many generations. And they proliferated through private hands and went to people who had no idea or no ability to provide them care. You know, we don't have many people who say, I am prepared to make a 20-year commitment to an animal that I know can kill me and I know will eat me out of house and home. We feed between 3,000 and 4,000 pounds of meat here every day. And as we're putting that meat out, we'll pick up between 800 and 1,000 pounds of bone out of the cages. Cubs are cute, cuddly, but they are something that you need to plan on caring for a long time. This animal belonged to a retired circus trainer. And when he retired, he walked an elephant into the barn and chained it to the floor and pulled 9 big cats into the barn. And that's where they stayed in circus wheel cages for 10 years. Hi. She lived her whole life in a cage that was 5 foot by 7. And despite the fact she's got this big habitat, when she gets bored or stressed, you see that little circle that she faces? That's part of the psychological impact on what's happened to her.
Ready?
We're going to Ohio, where we're going to pick up a cougar. It's an 8-year-old spayed, declawed female. We don't know who the people are. All we have is an address and a phone call from the people that they want to give this animal up. Ohio had virtually no regulation about the keeping of exotic animals until just recently, not until after the incident in Zanesville. About 2 years ago, there was somebody who had a large collection of big cats. For some reason, this guy went out one night and turned all of his cats loose and then committed suicide. And all of those cats ended up being killed because when you've got 60 lions and tigers running around at night, unsecured, that's the only thing you can do. As a result of that situation, there was a political backlash in Ohio. Ohio has passed a lot of laws, so it's going to be interesting to see what we find today.
I don't know what this situation is that we're walking into right now. It could be a sad case of he just can't follow what Ohio is making them do, and it could be that he wasn't doing what he needed to do anyways.
When I started with big cats, there were no regulations of any kind involved. From the point of view of the state, it was no different than having a Cocker Spaniel or a German Shepherd. I just went to the local pet store and said, hey, I'll take one of those. I lived with the leopard for almost 19 years. She had the run of my house. I mean, she slept in my bed all of her life. And most of the people who were involved in it were fairly serious about it. And then cats started being bred in puppy mills and sold on the internet, sold cheaply. We have some tigers that were sold at an auction for $25 a piece.
It'll be 19 or better. Straight up. Boy, there's a nice fail. Sell him at 10, 11. 11 to buy. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. What you gonna do? 15.
These auctions take place in states where they don't have a state law against the sale of endangered species, or they don't have state laws against the buying and selling of exotic species, of species that aren't found in that state. And what typically then happens is that state is then used as a loophole to launder illegal big cats or illegal wildlife with legal. And what a lot of people don't understand is how those species got into the United States. How were those animals bred?
Black bug. Got a broke leg. Fire out, Sam. 20, 30.
There's a large amount of people here in the United States that feel like they want to have something that's rare.
And we have elk, fallow, axis, oryx. We have a wallaby. The thing that bothers me, there's some crazy lady up in D.C. that because they're extinct in the wild and they're endangered, she says, well, nobody should be shooting them. Well, the only reason that they're actually thriving is for raising them so they can be hunted. If she outlaws hunting of them altogether, guess what? People are gonna just get rid of them and say, well, they're not making me any money. I'm gonna get rid of them, or they're gonna shoot them out, and then they are gonna go extinct. But by having them as like cattle, they're flourishing. You can have a big ranch and put on what you want, do what you want with it. People don't worry so much about it. Knock on wood, I've never seen a game warden.
typically goes for right around 2,000 to 2,200. If it's a female, you can sell for as much as 4 to 45 people. You don't need to do it. Be careful with it.
Yeah. This is my house. I happened to come up here. I checked on a few animals that I bought yesterday, but they're doing okay. Y'all remember that black buck that came in with the hurt leg?
Yeah.
He's down here. I'll show you. There's about 400 down there. I get a lot of guys that come up from Houston. A lot of the petrol guys, a lot of the old guys come up. They take them out and they take the meat. Sometimes they don't want the meat, but they always take them out. The main lodge is further down the road. You could if you wanted to, shoot one of your giraffes, but female mature giraffe sells for about 70,000. A bunch of guys holding them up. Show him right there.
Her name is Zoe.
Tough time for you.
It is. This really sucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
All because of that guy in Zanesville, huh? Today, we found a couple of people who have taken very good care of an animal for a long time in a very secure cage. Now, you have to understand a lot of this is quite unusual for us.
Nice teeth,
You want to get her back in here?
The owner thought he was going to be able to pick the animal up in his arms and put him in our cage. That didn't work out well. It was a dangerous situation. It's the kind of situation I do not ever like to see. If that would have been a wild cougar, then you'd have a lot of people that were either dead or in the hospital. We got the animal back in her original enclosure, and then we had to immobilize her.
Yep.
It's fucking scary. The drugs we're using are ketamine and dexamethasone. Quit shaking, Rizzo.
Well, sorry, that was a little. Not what this is not.
They just picked up 2 tigers from This will be better for her because once she's inside the cage, having not really known anything else, she's likely to have a very difficult time on the transport back. This will keep her calm and in a more or less sleepy state the whole way back. She's fighting it, but she might go down.
Nice shot, Dave.
We did get her immobilized eventually.
Okie dokie.
And then we
Okay.
moved her into our cage.
All right, just shove her in the best you can.
Okay.
I don't want you in there in the cage. She's too awake. Okay, let's get this gate back. Too many people get these animals because it's an ego thing, because they want to say that they control a big cat, that they have a big cat for a pet. And these animals get huge, and I don't care how sweet they are. That is a potential danger. We pull cats out of places that are neighborhoods. There are kids and stuff nearby. That's a pretty scary thing.
I think she's going to make this transition really well. Now she's surrounded by tigers and leopards. She'll be able to see her neighbors will be able to see her, and that's got to be quite overwhelming for her. I mean, she could see 3 dogs from where she was, 3 dogs and a cat. This family also had a bear. Looked very healthy, very well cared for, very clean. They have done a good job with their animals, and they live someplace where there were no laws regarding the keeping of exotic animals. I mean, they weren't criminals, they weren't mean people. Still, people that keep lions and tigers and other big dangerous animals need to be under some kind of regulatory system.
There are more big cats in private hands than there are in the wild now. You know, at some point, you've got to say to yourself, what's the quality of life here? And if you have one of these creatures, you need to consider more than just the pride of ownership. It's a being, it's a life. You want a feline? Get you a house cat.